Welcome to the Pillar Podcast, where we put racial equity front and center. Join us as we dissect equity policy, overcoming achievement gaps, and strategies that ensure equitable learning opportunities, experiences, and outcomes for all students.
Welcome to another episode of the Pillar Podcast. I am your host, Ian Brandon, and today we're talking sports. I am with the Dr. Brooks. Dr. Brooks, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes. Oh, man. Former athlete, JCPS. So I always like to have conversation with similar minds, similar background. So today I would like to get to know a little bit more about the intricacies of JCPS athletics. It's a pretty large district.
Yeah, we have 18,000 athletes at the middle school and high school level, so that doesn't even include our elementary students. So we're a very large district and have a lot of kids participate. We're really proud of that.
And 18,000 student athletes, that's a lot of students. From the management side, at each level, let's say each, but the middle and high school level, we have athletic directors.
Correct.
About how many athletic directors would you say we have?
So we've got 23 at the high school level and 29 at the middle school level.
23 and 29 across 18,000.
Yes, so that's 52 athletic directors. A lot of them have game managers and assistant ADs that are working with them. And of course, we've got fabulous coaches to help support that staff. But it is a lot of management because we have a lot of sports.
A lot of management, a lot of sports. So I kind of want to talk about the capacity, right? Clearly, it's manageable because you are doing wonderful things, and I think our district and our student athletes are feeling it. But talk a little bit about your staff from the district level, and just the sheer number of you all servicing not only the 18,000 student athletes, but those coaches, those athletic directors, and kind of how you've been able to bring that to scale with the resources that you have.
So first and foremost, I want to say that it's very rewarding to be in this position, and it's been a blessing in my life. But it is taxing because we only have two people in my office who work directly with sports management, myself and Leslie Lentelman is my middle school athletic director. So I pretty much run all the high school events. She runs the middle school events, and then we split elementary. We don't have an elementary athletic director position. And then we have an academic coordinator that works with our academic competitions, Robert Bronner. And then I have a secretary clerk who are both phenomenal, Kim and Tammy. But for 18,000 athletes, sometimes it does get demanding. So in a course of a week, I might go to probably 4 to 5 different events. And then on the weekends as well, just trying to make sure that everything is running well and that I'm visible. So parents can tell me their concerns, coaches can tell me their concerns. I can meet the student athletes. It warms my heart when I come into an event and kids run up and hug me and thank me for starting a program. Or for visiting their school. They remember me from visiting their school. And so that's another passion I have, is getting into the elementary schools and try to get students started early and having a passion for sports. So,
and you mentioned new programs. Can you shed any light on some of the new activity around those programs?
Yes. So when I first received the position about 3 years ago, I was talking to some female athletes, and they said, we want to play football, but we don't want to play with the boys. And so they were very interested in flag. And so I talked to some community members, and we started a flag football tournament. And that's been very exciting. Carlos Collins has been a big help with that, and Kiva, who was a former flag football player here in Louisville, professional player. And so they helped me coordinate that tournament. And Central High School has been the reigning champs twice of that flag football tournament. And it was just wonderful to see girls enjoying the sport, being able to have their own, league and thrive. And more teams have been added. And now we have a Metro flag football league currently that's being ran by Eastern High School's AD. So it's really grown. Some other programs that we've started are the elementary sports clinics. So those are happening on gold days when we don't have school. And so it's an opportunity for parents to make sure their kids are at a safe place while they're working when school's not in. So we've offered tennis and flag football and basketball, boys volleyball, track this year. And so that's just another opportunity for kids to say, hey, I don't know which sport I love just yet, but I can go and try out a lot of different ones and find the one that's for me. And so that's one of the other things that I've offered. Boys volleyball is a new sanctioned sport, so we're trying to get more boys excited about that. We also have camps at the Backpack League. Has been another initiative that we've started. So when kids are there for the summer, we've already got a captive audience. So we've got student athletes, coaches, myself going out and teaching kids different sports. This past summer, we focused on field hockey, which is a sport that a lot of kids don't even know about. Yeah. Particularly kids that are in more urban settings. We were kind of telling them about this sport, getting kids able to use the equipment and ask questions about it. And so we were thankful for our field hockey coaches for coming out during the Backpack League and teaching that. So that's just some of the programs.
Just some? My goodness. That is, wow. Again, and I know you have a lot going on. That's why I brought it up, because it's when I learned how small, and I mean that in a positive way, how small your staff truly is.
I say we're small but mighty.
Small. There you go. It's very impressive to see the expansion of just the visibility in athletics has increased. I know since you've been in this role, and the expansion of access and programming, which I want to touch on a little bit later on. But I'm also curious, I know that hearing you talk about the new programs, giving access, that is difficult for anyone, let alone a African-American female. Can you talk a little bit about some of the hurdles, triumphs, obstacles that you have embraced and endured to grow JCPS athletics to where it is?
So, like you said, I'm the first female to have this position, and being an African-American female, it has been difficult. Sports administration is very male-dominated.
Mm-hmm.
So having a voice as a female has been very important to me, and I've put a lot of emphasis on female sports because our numbers were down in female sports participation. And I got a lot of pushback, even from the community about that. What about the boys? But a lot of programming is already there for the boys. There's a lot of dollars put into male sports. I have 2 sons, so I love to see boys play sports. I'm supporting them just as much as the girls, but the programming was not at the same level. So I did get some pushback on that. And I think I came from a very non-traditional background. Obviously, I was an athlete here in JCPS at Mill High School and then ran track for the University of Kentucky. I coached at Eastern High School in no middle track and cross country, which are 2 sports I'm very passionate about. But then I went on to be an assistant principal and a principal. And so not being an athletic director, there was some pushback that would I have the knowledge and expertise to do the job. So I'm just thankful that the superintendent and the chief of schools believed in the things that I was saying in the interview, and that I wanted to be a change agent for sports. So I didn't want to come in and do exactly what it was done. There was a great foundation laid by Jerry Wyman. I just wanted to emphasize some things, enhance some things, and I think I've done that. And then also to really open up the door for other females.
Exactly.
this job and do it at high levels. There have been times when I've made recommendations and, people have, kind of been very argumentative about it or have downplayed it, said this programming's not important. Or a male would make the same recommendation and then people
jump on it. Yeah.
Things like that have happened, and those have definitely been hurdles. But I feel like God has called me to do this work. And so when I do get pushback, I just think of another way.
Yeah.
There's always a different path that can be taken or a different resource. I've really pulled in some retired people who are respected in the community. Roger Berkman works in my office, who was the athletic director at Spalding and played basketball for the University of Louisville. So I've just pulled in a lot of respected people, really work with the community to help support me. And I've just always been the kind of person that if you believe in something and your heart's in the right place, that it will follow.
It's going to work out. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I started the STEP show 3 years ago, someone told me that, kids don't really want to do this. Nobody's going to come see this. So I only got 6 teams my first year doing the STEP show. But I said, you know what, I'm just going to keep doing it every year. And I think it will grow and I think people will get more excited about it. And this year we have 15 teams. So I think sometimes it's about patience. Sometimes people don't see your vision, but you have to just stay true to who you are and what you believe. And I want competitive, equitable programming for my students, and I'm not going to let them.
And I think that's, I just kind of want to, again, highlight your track to get here, right? I think a lot of times public opinion can assume people get placed in positions, right? But what other sense would it make, right, for a female of this district, right, student athlete, came through the ranks, successful, right, in the sport, in education, to go then lead students in a building in a non-athletic way, to bring it full circle. There has to be a foundation of respect there. And I think that's a testament to the individuals you've been able to bring in from community, right? I think respect earns respect. Respect knows respect. You mentioned that you noticed the numbers were down for female student athletes, right? And I think it's safe to say that this district prides itself on data, right? So kudos to you for seeking out the data, knowing the data, and being a change agent of the data, right? I think that speaks directly to what the district has adopted in the racial equity policy, right? What you're doing is providing access and opportunity.
Correct.
I would say that a lot of the clinics the clubs that have been started are exposing not just female student athletes, but all student athletes to various sports that they may not have had the opportunity to engage in, learn in. And I think that helps with the student sense of belonging.
I definitely agree with you. And I'm kind of a data junkie anyway, so I like to look at numbers because I think oftentimes we create programming and we keep doing things, but we don't really have the data to support that it's successful. So I wanted to make sure that I had my data, my ducks in a row. And so I saw that after COVID, a lot of girls had gotten away from playing sports. And I'm like, we've got to solve this problem. We've got thousands of girls that aren't playing anymore. But it seems like every year we continue to grow overall. And I think it's because of the programming that we have. And, we've got about 4,000 girls playing at the high school level now, and we are back. Our numbers are back where they were
prior to COVID. Wow, that's amazing. Kudos to you on that. Yeah.
So it's really been awesome to be able to share that data with district leaders.
as we're looking, right, we're all aware we're in a transitional period here, changing of the guard, new regime, if you will, top down. For those that may not be aware, I am talking about the new superintendent search. Obviously, with change comes change. What are some of the things you would like to see in the new superintendent through an athletic lens?
I'd really like to see, a lot of course, forward thinking, more development of female and African American coaches so that they can move to the next level, just to become an athletic director. I would like to see more equity in our athletic directors. And then, of course, to increase our sports facilities, particularly for sports like swim, baseball, softball, getting our facilities at the level of other school districts. We've started that work with the turf fields.
Yep.
That continue to other areas and other sports, so that we have complexes where elementary, middle, and high school can use those facilities, and that every school has access to a field. So we have schools like the Brown School, Barrett, schools that are landlocked. Central, I'd like to see them have a baseball field. So there's a lot of areas of improvement, definitely in those areas, and just more financial resources. It takes a lot of money to run effective sports programs, and not all of our high schools have booster clubs or have very high gate sales, and so to be able to really work on more equity supplements for all schools to have sports at the same level. I want everybody to have those nice, crisp uniforms, top-notch equipment, top-notch facilities. So I would hope that the new superintendent is a lover of sports. Dr. Polio has been very supportive of athletics, and I just hope that will continue. And more positions in my department.
Absolutely, yeah.
We need more help, more hands to start more and more programming. And I have so many more ideas that I haven't even started yet because I need more leaders.
Yeah. Right now, if you could wave a magic wand, be it that over the heads of district leadership or over our community as it relates to just resources, not necessarily just financial, but just resources to continue to enhance, what would that magic wand produce specifically over community?
I would say over community, we need a lot more volunteers. We don't have enough financial resources to pay everybody to help us. I mean, when you think about game management, you have scores keepers, ticket takers, right?
Yeah.
You've got officials that you need. And so there's a lot of moving parts in an athletic event. So we need more community members to come out and support. And not only volunteer, but to be spectators.
Yes.
Me when I go to games and events and then no one's in the stands to cheer these kids on who are doing something positive.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what I need from the community is to show up for us and to cheer these kids on. And then also mentors. We have an African American male mentoring program that we've started. We have our athletic ambassadors.
You just keep subtly dropping the clubs and the new things. That's awesome. Okay, yeah.
So I would like those kids to see role models in the community who've already walked the pathway for these kids and can help them learn from their mistakes and then also support them on the next level as they go on to high school or college athletics and maybe even professional. We have so many people in JCPS that are alumni that have done great things. We just had Ivan Green speak at our coaches clinic that played in the NFL and is now one of our coaches at Central High School. We had Larry O'Bannon come back. He now works at the University of Louisville, which was a national champion in basketball. So we've had so many, Scotty Davenport, Coach Bellerman that played at Iroquois. And so every high school I can think of some standout athlete that started
right here. Yeah.
And those people come back and they give their time, but we need more community members to do that.
How would, I'm going to preface this with, I personally am greatly appreciative and want to acknowledge a lot of your business partners within the community. But again, taking that magic wand, let's wave that over some business or corporate entities. How can they help support you, your team, some of the clubs and programs that are happening?
We have great sponsors, but obviously we always need more. Kroger's does a lot to give us free food for our athletes because we talk to them about health and nutrition, and it's great to see the Kroger's will show up with bananas and apples and water and things like that so that they can go home with these items and tell their parents this is the types of things we need to be eating before we have a competition. BSN Sports has been a good sponsor for us. Class Act Credit Union. We need more, though. We need more sponsors to help support us in this work. And so that's something else that I'd like to see happen is that people it doesn't have to be financial, but if they can come and bring a product, to our student athletes, it really does make a difference, especially with our budget, which is limited because, like I said, we've got 18,000 athletes. We do a lot of stellar events for them, and the more support we get from the community, the better.
So we had a brief conversation prior to starting, and we were talking about district athletics as compared to our lovely counterparts in the Catholic school realm, specifically around recruitment. Obviously, same playing field, but a little different in some regard. Do you believe that the supports we're just mentioning, right, from community, additional sponsors, be it that a financial or product resource, do you believe that will help recruit, and not only recruit, but retain some of our student athletes for JCPS?
Yes, sometimes public schools get a hard rep, and a bad rep, and I think that one of the things that I've tried to do is just really promote what we're doing in JCPS athletics. And so it doesn't matter if I'm on the radio or the news or today's podcast, I'm always talking about the new programming and the wonderful coaches that we have because I think some people just don't know the changes that are coming about. So often I'll get a text message, oh my gosh, there's a new gym floor at J-Town High School. Central's got a new gym, so there's new beliefs.
Yeah, it's popping up everywhere. I know, I'm seeing it. Yeah.
It's turn field and it's really nice. And so we are trying to elevate to the same level because I think facilities was a big reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, as high school students. And so that's one of the things I'm working on. Also, more training for my coaches through the coaches clinics and getting college coaches out to speak and just really trying to elevate them with the training from Court at the Court and Norton's. There are athletic trainers. They're coming in and talking to the coaches about different warm-up and stretching techniques and things like that. So elevating our coaches, giving them better training, I think also is going to help. And then also talking about our academic program, because I think that's just as important as what we're doing in athletics. So whenever my ADs are getting interviewed, we're working with Eve Sports Radio to kind of get the word out about athletics as well. And one of the questions that Jerry Eves always asks is, tell us about the academic program.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times people don't know that you can get this medical training ahead of time prior to going to college or engineering or whatever the field may be or culinary. I mean, our schools have phenomenal programming.
Oh, yeah.
Along with the athletics, you can also, have a magnet program that you're involved in or get some kind of internship early on. So I'm also working on putting that word out there as well. And I'm just, I'm a product of JCPS. And so when people get to talking about public schools and what they can't do, I'm always on the other side of what we
Can do. Absolutely.
And all of the people that have become successful from JCPS, I remind people, this person went to this high school.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And like I said, I can name some exemplary community members from every high school at JCPS, and many of those were athletes as well.
And I love it because you don't just focus on the athletic side of it, right? Like, you truly emphasize the student athlete. So talking about the academic opportunities, you also provide that ongoing, I don't want to call it academic, but I think for us adults, we call it professional development, right? Which is your coaches clinics. Can you elaborate a little bit about what the coaches can expect to receive in that clinic and how that knowledge trickles down to the students and just enhances the student athlete experience all around?
Yeah, so we have a coaches clinic every season. So it's an opportunity for our fall, winter, and spring coaches to come in and get specialized training. And so during this clinic, I kind of go over our mission and vision so that we're all on the same page. It's where I can really collectively talk to all coaches. And one of the things I talk about is equity. We now have the Louisville Lightning, which is a team that is for students that have physical disabilities. We have unified sports for students with mental disabilities. So one of my messaging is that every student in JCPS can play sports.
Yeah.
So that's really important, and that they're reminded of that. And then we have a guest speaker that is usually a product of JCPS athletics that talks about their experience and what effective coaching looked like for them and why they got to the place that they are now. And then we have a court that comes in and does training as well, which is like CPR. They go over mental health of student athletes. I've done a training called Girl Power, where we talk about how to effectively coach female athletes. Court also does CPR, mental health, nutrition. So they have their Nortons as well. They have their doctors come in, their athletic trainers come in and give specialized training. And then we also have some of our exemplary coaches who come in and will do a specialized training for a specific sport. So you may have a track coach come in and talk about track conditioning and workouts that are appropriate for sprinters versus long distance athletes. And then we have football coaches who will come in and talk about how to coach effectively. So I think that gives them an opportunity to ask questions.
Yeah.
Helps not only our new coaches, but also our experienced coaches to get more training. And so that's what the coaches clinic is all about.
And just hearing you describe the experience, it opened my mind, because immediately I'm thinking the student athletes may not know it, but these are opportunities for you to see career paths outside of athletics, but still in some way be connected to athletics, right? Which is, I believe, a component of one of your upcoming events in the Girls Expo.
Yes.
Right?
Super excited about this event and to be able to partner with DEP on this. So basically, the Girls Sports Expo is just really a culmination of all the events that I've done for girls sports over the past few years, is to get all the girls together. We're going to have at least 6 female athletes from every middle school and every high school. So that'll be about 300 student athletes. We'll come to the Kentucky Science Center and we will have guest speakers, workshops, and they'll be talking about things like self-confidence, body image, just really thinking about the athlete holistically and what girls need to be successful. And so we finally got our motto, play like a girl, dominate the game. And I think that it's important that people understand that female athletics is different than male sports. And it should be.
It should be, yeah.
Our makeup is different. But I do want people to understand that girls play at high levels just like young men do. They train hard. I think we're starting to see that a lot with girls basketball now.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to
Watch it. Oh, yeah.
Basketball like they're watching boys basketball. And so that has been really important to me, that female athletes understand that that their needs are different, and they have to articulate that to their coaches and their trainers, and treat their bodies differently, and that they have the support. We have mental health counselors in JCPS. We have athletic trainers at every high school. So those people are there to help them be successful along with their coaches, and that they understand their resources and use those resources to help elevate their play, and to know that inside them is something special. To be an athlete, it really is something special, because you have to be able to balance academics, athletics, and your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You are pushing your body at high levels, but one thing we also forget about is that also the mental piece and the mental toughness that it takes to play a sport, because you have to be able to be resilient.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And come back after a loss with the same intensity that you would come back after a win. And teaching kids how to do that it's a pretty special honor. To be a coach, to me, is a calling also. And so I'm just grateful for this event. It'll be April 10th.
April 10th.
At the Kentucky Science Center. And we will have coaches, ADs, and some special guests there to help these girls actualize, their talent and their skill set. And I hope they leave this event feeling as empowered to do things well as I want them to feel. So that's.
You've got something coming up prior to the Girls Expo. You mentioned the event earlier, but this year's the third annual Step Show, February 8th.
Yes, you're going to be one of our judges.
I will be there. I will be there judging. Shameless plug. I am a Step Show champion. Won my first Step Show, Western Kentucky University, fall 2006. But hey, that was a long time ago. I know exactly what to look for, and I'm not holding back. They're gonna have to bring it.
They are. Like I said, Central High School is the reigning champ.
Mm-hmm.
2 years in a row. And Simple Elementary won the younger division last year. And so the Simple Stars will be back.
Oh, yeah.
We have an elementary, middle, and high school.
I love it.
Last year we had elementary and middle together. We actually have enough teams this year to have 3 separate divisions. So that shows you the growth there. Community members to come support this event. Also, we'd like our Divine Nine to be there in large numbers, and we do have a selective and special group of judges, as you know. So we're excited. And DJ MTV.
Yeah.
DJ, and then also our lovely JCPS employee Shay Johnson. Alpha.
Yes.
My lovely sorority. She will be our MC.
Yeah, there is not a single individual in the city who is more equipped for that than Shay. Oh my gosh, it is top tier. She's like that. I don't know if I've ever not seen her in that bubbly, positive, in your face energy. Like it is electric.
Which is why I asked her to volunteer her time and do this, and she was very grateful to do it, and so I'm thankful.
So if you guys don't know Shay, you got to come out at least just to get some of this energy. Again, it's February 8th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it's at Mail this year, right?
The auditorium.
Nice.
There'll be plenty of parking. Come on out. We do have a QR code that you can scan to get your ticket in advance. And that is on our Facebook page, JCPS Athletics, and also on my Twitter page.
Nice. And we are actually, I'm kind of working backwards on the calendar of events, but we are getting close to wrapping up the LIT for this year, right?
In the midst of the girls' LIT. So on Thursday, it will come to Valley High School. We have 2 JCPS teams that have advanced Central and Butler High School. So please come out and support them. as they lead the way to the championship.
Hey, put it out there.
Yellow jackets and our berets.
One thing I want to leave on. You mentioned it earlier, was the slogan for the Girls Expo. Can you reiterate that for us?
Yes. So our motto and slogan, which is going to be on the T-shirts of all the girls that will be attending the Girls Sports Expo, is play like a girl and dominate the game. And so it used to be kind of have a negative connotation to say you're playing like a girl, but that narrative has changed and has flipped. Playing like a girl is playing strong. It's being resilient. It's being a good teammate. It's being healthy. It's loving your body, self-confidence. All those things are wrapped up into playing like a girl. And so when I say that to athletes and I high-five them, that's a compliment. And so I saw a story once where it was actually on Twitter where a PE teacher was talking about a little boy hitting threes in the gymnasium. And somebody came up to him and said, "You're shooting like Caitlin Clark." And so that
yeah.
People now are looking at strong skill sets.
The impact.
As a female athlete, where, back in the day it would have been like you're shooting like Jordan, right? And so that being a male student athlete shooting threes and someone saying you're shooting like Caitlin Clark, that just lets me know that people are starting to understand that playing like a girl is a strong attribute. And that's what will be uplifting and empowering, and hopefully that will resonate with our female athletes at the Girls Sports Expo.
I'm almost certain that it will. So I want to wish you the best of luck in your with the 3 events that we just mentioned. Just wrapping up the LIT, the 3rd annual Step Show, and the Girls Expo. I want to come back, do a part 2, because you talked a lot about equity across the board, and I know a lot of times, public opinion can view equity as simply a racial thing. In my opinion, you can't really have equity without racial equity, but that's neither here nor there. But I want to expound upon the equity across all student athletes, right? Male, female, elementary, middle, high, and those with disabilities, because again, equity affects us all. So I want to come back and just dig a little deeper in on your lens of equity through providing access and opportunity to all students.
So one thing that I said that I really want to try to hit as a target before I retire is that kids can go to any school in JCPS and play the sport that they want to play.
That's big.
That's equity to me. So no matter what elementary school, middle, high school, if you're a golfer, you can golf, right? If you're a cheerleader, you can cheer. And so that's equity to me, that there's no barriers to you to be able to participate. So I started having free sports physical clinics with the help of Eva Stone Health Services.
Oh, yeah.
And so now you can go to JCPS high schools and get a free sports physical. So that's equity to me. Removing any
barriers. Absolutely.
From playing. So if you have a disability, you can still play the sport that you love. So no matter your gender, you're going to have great facilities. So I hate to go to a school and see a baseball field that is, clean and immaculate and has turf, and then we go to the softball field and the fence is falling down.
Yeah.
There's barely any dirt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's equity to me. So when I go into schools, I'm looking at the facilities. When I go in the locker room, if the boys have a TV in their locker room, the girls need a TV. So that's how I look at equity. Title IX is very important to me. And so that's something that I'm always trying to look at. And it's something that I bring up to athletic directors. Even if it's a donation from the community and they redid the baseball field, then we got to find money to redo the softball field. And the 80s really do they do a great job of advocating for their schools about making sure that all facilities are good for all students. And so, if also when I think about travel,
oh man, that's a big one.
The kids are getting. So if we've got one team that's traveling to Florida for a tournament, we need to make sure that both genders are able to do something that's similar. Right?
Yeah, it's the exact same, but yes,
similar opportunities for all kids. And then also, if you'll notice that a lot of my clinics and things are free.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It takes a lot of my budget to do that, but I think that's important because I don't want a kid to stay at home. They can't come to a clinic because my parents don't have $25. And so I also get a lot of sponsorships if it's an outside camp and things like that. But I ask community members or corporations to sponsor kids to be able to go to camps. And that's been a great resource that kind of make things more of a equal playing field for student athletes. So all of those things are equity to me. Also being able to see someone that looks like you in leadership is important. So our athletic directors, we now have 3 African-American males, and we also have a female at the high school level. And so just being able to see that, okay, I too can
absolutely
be in sports administration.
You got to see it. Yeah. You have to see it.
Believe it. And we both know representation matters. So that's a big part of equity for me. So just trying to get more African Americans and females into the ranks has been a part of my charge. So those are the things that come to mind. I'm sure there's something that I've missed, but equity is always in the forefront of the planning of events for me.
I would like to take a moment to, again, acknowledge all of JCPS's corporate sponsors.
Yes, I'm just so excited to have support from the community, and particularly this financial support has been meaningful to all my high schools. We've talked a lot about equity, and so many high schools will need support in middle schools for uniforms, equipment, for their leadership programs and things like that. And so I would like to thank our corporate gold sponsors. BSN Sports has been a great partner. They've helped us get equipment for different events, whether it's soccer, flag football. They've given us belts and things like that. And so we're thankful for their support and meeting our needs as well. And then Toad Vine is another of one of our big sponsors. If you've seen any of our new bleachers in our football stadiums and also in our basketball facilities, Toad Vine has been the one putting in those new bleachers, and they look very nice. So we're thankful for that. And Kroger, as I mentioned before, gives us a lot of free food for our student athletes at our events and make sure that they're eating healthy. Class Act, we're very thankful for them to let us use their facilities. Their corporate boardroom for our athletic ambassador meetings. It really gives them a lift to see this is how board meetings are ran in such a nice facility. So we're thankful for them as well. And Miller Transportation for getting our students here, there, and everywhere safely. There are 5 gold sponsors, and we're thankful for all their support.
Well, Dr. Brooks, I appreciate your time. I know you've got a full day ahead, so I will let you get to what you're really here to do. But I appreciate the time and opportunity to dig a little deeper into JCPS athletics.